For a lot of guys, coming to Thailand and being a sugar daddy to one of these incredibly beautiful Thai women is an absolute dream. However, for a lot of guys, it turns into a nightmare in a hurry. Why, hello there, guys, and welcome to a very special What Would You Do If It Happened to You episode of Tales from Thailand with me, your crazy, kooky host. Today's video, guys, is all about a buddy of mine, a subscriber who has turned into a friend, Dan, down here on Phuket, who has been in a relationship with a local lady for about a year and a half. Now, please understand, Dan came over here from the United States about 2 years ago, and he spent the first 3 or 4 months going absolutely crazy, partying and experiencing all of the stuff that he wanted to, well, all of the fun he wanted to have, he did it in the first 3 to 4 months. Now, sadly enough, Dan does not have the money that he was hoping to have in his retirement because his ex-wife got pretty much all of it in the divorce settlement. So he's here not living like a hobo, but he's also not a big-time baller. And he, was having lots of fun in the beginning, but he was seeing how expensive it was. So he wanted to find something that, someone to slow down with and enjoy life. One night he was out at a bar and he met this beautiful girl in her early 40s and just absolutely fell in love with her. Now, she told him that she's not a bar girl, never been a freelancer, never been a massage girl. However, the odd thing is all of her friends are massage girls, freelancers, and bar girls. That just happened. So nobody really knows whether or not Dan's girlfriend is or was any of the above. All we know is this much. She's very sweet, very pretty, very kind, and works extremely hard at her job at a local hotel as a cleaner. Now, what worked out really well for Dan in the beginning was that she did not have a job the first couple of months that they met. So they got the chance to go out, date, get to know each other. And Dan essentially fell in love with her head over heels and decided that he wanted to slow down and be with her, support her, take care of her. So they did, as most people here in Thailand, worked out an agreement where Dan would give her a certain amount of money and she would, be dating him, be with him, etc., etc. And as a result, Dan became a sugar daddy, okay? So I know in the comment section, people are going to call him a simp and all of this stuff, but really it works out well for him, and it has been working out extremely well for him, except for the fact that all of a sudden he has become much more than a sugar daddy, and now he's a daddy because his girlfriend has a 7-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old boy. Now, guys, please listen to me when I tell you this, and I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just giving you facts and what I've learned from my own personal experience here. 90% of the girls that are down here on Phuket or up in Pattaya, certain areas in Bangkok, anywhere there's an abundance of tourists looking to be sugar daddies, there are girls there that are looking for that same type of arrangement, and 90% of them have children. That's why they're down here or up there doing whatever it is they can to support their children and their family, and Dan's girlfriend is no different. Again, we don't know whether or not she was ever in the industry, but we know this much. She's down here trying to support her family, her children. Now, please do not say anything weird in the comment section when I say this, but let's be honest. Most men have a soft spot for little girls, okay? It's daddy's little girl, etc., etc. And here in Thailand, it's no different. And Dan is just the exact same way. He is making sure that his girlfriend's daughter is taken care of absolute the best he possibly can. She's very smart, very bright. She can speak English at only 7 years old. So Dan is paying for her to go to a special English school so that she can get the best education she possibly can. However, Dan has learned being a sugar daddy has its downfalls, and that is the fact that her son is a little holy terror who has been, let's just say, a terrible drain on her and their relationship over the past 3 or 4 months. He has gotten himself into so much trouble. So guys, please understand this when I say this, okay? Here in Thailand, again, most of these girls that are in these areas looking for someone to support, looking for a sugar daddy, almost every one of them have kids. And the father of those children usually have nothing to do with those kids. I'm not attacking Thai men or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I'm being told and what everyone essentially is told by the girls, that, you know, the guys, they do nothing, they're drunks, they're abusive, they don't give any support, etc., etc. So it's up to the girl completely, totally to financially support the children. Sadly enough, because they're down in places like this, they're not with their children, so they can't discipline them. They can't give them any guidance. Instead, they rely on their parents to help out. So they send the kids back home to live with the grandparents. And again, not attacking anybody, I'm just telling you the way it is here. For the most part, a lot of the men have drinking problems, you know, the mothers or the grandmothers, they're not really able to give any type of discipline. And the boys, especially when they get to a certain age, they just want to drop out of school. And Dan's girlfriend's son is no exception to the rule. He decided at 13, right after Dan and her got together, that he was done with school. He's going to become a construction worker, etc., etc. Again, the daughter, no problem at all. She's in school. She loves school. The boy has been a problem the whole time. He doesn't like the fact that his mother's with a guy. He's very jealous about that. But he has gotten himself into a lot of trouble. And I'm going to tell you something. When these kids are not in school, it's the same any place in the world. They get themselves into trouble. And their friends typically, you know, are just every bit as bad. So in the past 5 months alone, this boy has been arrested for selling drugs. That cost Dan 5,000 baht to get him out of that. He was arrested for breaking and entering into a small little roadside business where they stole some booze. They got drunk. Cost Dan 5,000 baht. Now, here's where it's going to get crazy for you guys. And this is why we're asking, what would you do if it happened to you? Because Dan is now in a situation where her son is going to cost him thousands and thousands of dollars, not just baht, dollars. About 3 months ago, her son and his older cousin, the cousin is about 22 years old. Again, her son is 15, just recently turned 15. And one of his young friends went to confront a guy that had been messing around with the older cousin's girlfriend. And the older cousin shot the guy. Now, luckily enough, the guy didn't die. However, her son and the other two boys were arrested about 2 or 3 days later. And her son had been in juvenile detention for about a month and a half. She was devastated. She was crying all the time. She only got to talk to him once a week, if she was lucky enough to talk to him once a week, because sometimes her mother had to go and talk to him. And if her mom went to talk to him in person, she couldn't talk to him on the phone that week. She would have to wait another week. So it was really, really hard on her. And she's very concerned about her son. I'm going to guess that even juvenile detention here is not a place that you really want to be. So she approached Dan and asked Dan if Dan could put up the bail money. The bail money was 30,000 baht, okay? And Dan did, because he knew that it was going to make her feel better. And again, please understand, he loves this woman. He has feelings for him. Not every guy that comes here and is paying a girl, you know, or supporting a girl is a monger or, you know, a simp. Some of these guys actually have really true, honest feelings for these girls, and he doesn't want to see her upset. He doesn't want to see her kid upset. So he put up the money. Now, here's the problem. Since he's been out of jail, he has been home. He hasn't got into any trouble, but he has to go and report to the court every 2 weeks. And recently they were in court doing, it's not so much a trial or a deposition, but it is essentially a negotiation where the guy who was shot, and this was one thing that makes Thailand crazy to me, because this would never happen in North America or any other place that I can think of. The guy that got shot is essentially saying, I want a 300,000 baht settlement. That's what he wants. He wants money. He wants to be compensated for being shot. And if he gets that money, the guy that shot him and the two young boys, they don't have to go to jail. They don't have to go to juvie. They'll be okay to walk away. Here's the trouble, though, for Dan and for a lot of guys that are going to find themselves in this situation. Please understand that the only person in this equation that has any money at all is her son, and Dan. And sadly enough, everybody now knows that because the oldest cousin is still in whatever jail he's in. The other young boy is still in juvenile detention because they didn't have the money to put up for bail, where her son did because of Dan. And where do you think the 300,000 baht is going to come from to give this guy his compensation to get him to let everyone walk away? There's only one person that has that type of money. And really, to be honest with you, Dan doesn't have that kind of money to be able to just drop 300,000 baht, which is right around 9,000 US dollars like that. He just doesn't. He's probably going to have to use his credit card. He's going to have to scrimp and save here and there, but he can get it. And everybody knows that and expects that because he's the foreigner. He's the rich Farang. So guys, please understand that when you're coming here and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be great to be a sugar daddy. Do you really want to be a daddy again? Most men that are coming here are divorced, they have children, they have families back at home, they've been through this, they've already been parents. And when you're 55, 65, do you really want to be a parent again? Especially for someone that you don't have the ability to discipline, you don't have the ability to interact with, you don't have the ability to guide them because they're not there with you. For the most part, you don't want them there because they're going to kill your vibe with the girl. So it's a up situation all the way around, and poor Dan doesn't know what to do. Should he give the 300,000 to help and just get it all over with, or should it just drag out and drag out? Should he hire a lawyer and hopefully get the kid off? Because the cousin has already admitted the fact that he's the one that shot him. But because Dan's the only one with the money, that's why this guy has asked for so much money, because he knows that Dan's going to be able to pay it because her son is the only one who's out on bail. So they obviously have access to money. So what would you do in this situation, guys? Knowing everything, again, they've been together for about 1.5 years. Fantastic relationship. She has a job. As far as we all know, she's not a bar girl. She's never been a bar girl. All of her friends are. All of her friends are freelance, but she herself, we don't know. She hasn't even been to like PP Island and these places where a lot of the time, if you're not sure if a girl is or not a freelancer, blah, blah, if they've been to PP, if they've been here, they've been there, you know that someone's taken them because they're not going on their own money. No experiences like that. She's a wonderful girl. She works hard. She's nice. She's kind. She's just in a shitty situation, and her son's in a really bad situation. So the question is, what would you do? Would you give the love of your life 300,000 baht to save her son? Or would you run as far and as fast as you possibly can from this situation, knowing that tomorrow you can go out and meet another incredibly beautiful, sensual, loving, caring Thai woman? What would you do? Till next time, guys, that was Tales from Thailand with me, your crazy, kooky host. I will be back with some more of these. I'll be honest with you, I know they're entertaining for you guys, but some of them are really depressing for me to make when I have to sit there and listen to someone share gut-wrenching stories with me about personal loss and suicide and financial ruin, and it is kind of difficult to tell these stories. This one's not so bad. I've got one coming up that is just going to shock the shit out of you guys. Till next time, live your best life. If you're not living your best life, find out what you need to do today to get living it, because in the end, you only have one, and most likely you don't want to spend that in juvenile detention in Thailand. So again, what would you do if you were Dan? Till next time, guys, cheers.